What is it about grandmothers that are just so huggable? Whew. Well, I just saw The Farewell and I had to text my grandma. I'm coming over this weekend.
Please tell me.
Your nan is dying.
She doesn't know, so you can't say anything. The family thinks it's better not to tell her.
Why is that better?
Chinese people have saying, when people get cancer, they die.
So, if you're not sure who Awkwafina is, she played the comedic relief in the movie The Crazy Rich Asians. Probably one of the last big Asian films that came out here in America, and it was a box office success. Now, personally, I feel like Crazy Rich Asians is a cool rom-com. It's something that really probably Americans can identify with. But for me personally, I felt like it was just maybe a little cliche in just the story. But I guess it is good to get a little bit of representation from the Asian community. And we haven't really gotten much of that in the last few years, aside from maybe like some kung fu movies. What was that soccer kung fu movie? That movie is crazy, man. I wasn't really sure which tone they were gonna go for in this movie. I didn't know if it was sort of a dramedy. Really, it's kind of like Seth Rogen's film 50-50. It's dealing with cancer, but it's dealing with the issue of what do you do when somebody that you love gets cancer. Her parents are deciding to go over to China in order to visit her, possibly for the last time, and they're going under the disguise that this is a wedding. It's like if you found out your grandmother was possibly going to pass away, you have to go see her. She ends up showing up, and the whole movie is basically about this big lie that's happened. Apparently, this is something that a lot of people do to their elders in the Chinese community. There's parts of this movie that explain that, the grandmother would be doing this too, because the grandmother actually did this to their grandfather. Awkwafina has a really great moment where she explains that her childhood was basically taken from her when she moved to America. She still remembers what happened when her grandfather passed away and that he just basically disappeared, and she didn't want the same thing to happen to her grandmother. Like, cancer is such a relatable subject because everybody knows somebody or has somebody personally in their family that's passed away due to cancer. So cancer is like a subject that you don't even really need much of a plot. This movie has a very simple plot that's very specific towards its director and Chinese audience. And I think because of that, it makes the film more effective than if it was just a normal American cancer film. So I'll plot it for that. I expected maybe a little bit more, but since it's a true story, you can only really go based on what happened. So with that, I'll say they did a really good job. Some of the parts that got me most emotional were like when Awkwafina was playing when she was starting to play on the piano, because she had talked about giving up the piano, and it was just such an emotional release for her that I just really felt that pretty much every scene where the music and the faces sort of spoke about what was internally going on for the characters, those really like grabbed at me. There's one part of the movie where the uncle says something that I think basically encapsulates the entire film, which is that in the East, referring to Awkwafina's American culture, that they care more about the personal issues of each other, but that in the West, in their community, they care more about the group and they care more about that, and that in their case, the burden of the pain of knowing that somebody's gonna die should fall on the hands of the children, not on the person. I think they made a really good job of explaining it, probably better than I did. The one thing I really loved was just showing the difference between the American and Asian community. Not every movie needs a sequel, but this would be a movie where I would like to see more of Awkwafina's character. We're given a little bit about her, trying to be an artist of some sort. I would like to know a little bit more about her character. The grandmother was extremely cute, and I feel like the grandmother plays as a catalyst for all of our grandmothers. Definitely, I have to say it was effective because I wanted to go drive and go see my grandma after seeing this. So yeah, I can't really say much to that. It's one of those movies that makes you think and appreciate the things you have and the people that you might not have spoken to in a long time. So yeah, I would say go call up your grandma and say, hey, we're going to the movies. We're going to go see The Farewell. And talk about things. I think one of the most important things that us as younger people or even older people forget to do is interview our grandparents, our parents, and figure out what's their story, what have they learned, what are their regrets, things like that. I think it helps us really understand who we are and what we're going through and how to deal through those things, and it gives us something to talk about so we don't have to just talk about the mundane things. So yeah, I give this film an 8 out of 10. A lot of people are saying that this is the best movie of the year. They're saying that this is like a masterpiece. I would say that it is a really well-made film, but I feel like in a sense it is a little bit under-ambitious because it's dealing with just a very simple topic. It's effective, but this isn't a documentary. We want a movie. We want something that's going to take us a little further. So yeah, that's it. 8 out of 10. Great film, but a little bit simple for me. I didn't cry, but that's okay. I should sign out all my stuff like that. But yeah, I just like that we're seeing differences in cultures of the Asian community, that they didn't try to make another big bombastic blockbuster type film. They actually made just a small drama, and I hope it does well because I think it's important for us to see different cultures and understand how our cultures differ. A lot of Americans, we don't expose ourselves to many different versions of cinema. So with that, we kind of don't have as much understanding of other cultures. So if this movie doesn't make sense to other people or feels like it's illogical, I think maybe they just don't have a very strong sense of culture outside of their own. So yeah, I'm guessing what the ending of this film says is that maybe maybe they were right to maybe keep that information from her. I'm not sure. I mean, it's up for debate. I do identify with the idea of depression and hypochondria and how that might overall lead to the effects of you being depressed and not having as much will to live. So I don't think it's good to lie to people, but it is good to offer alternatives. So if somebody's going through something, don't keep that information from them. Do things with them. Keep them motivated. Make them feel good. Give them purpose to live. At the end of the day, if that person has a purpose to live, I think they'll continue living, and I think that's what ended up working for Nai Nai. Shout out to Nai Nai. She was cute, the real one, and the actress one. Grandmothers are amazing, and they kind of cheated with this film because making a movie about going to see your grandmother, like, you kind of already got me. And honestly, it kind of got me inspired because I do have a film I wanted to write about me and my grandmother. So I might start working on that because, yeah, that's a cheat code, man. Making movies about talking to your grandmother, that's a cheat code. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you thought about the film. Tell me if my review influenced you to want to go check out the film or think of the film any differently. And that'll be it.
好多了，好多了，好多了，再来点气儿，再来点气儿。